for the institution, but also marriage that fulfills purpose and destiny. Thank you very much. How is that? That's better. The first one was a mistake. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can I have this one?
Okay, I'll send you.
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry. Okay. Oh, you will have my number for you. Okay, I'll just all right, thank you so much. All right, good night.
I'm praying especially for you. You that have been sick. You need a miracle.
Wherever you are in this world, get ready to experience the full blessings of the gospel of Christ in healing, wonders, and great miracles.
When we stretch His hands toward you, the power of God will come to you. It doesn't matter where you are.
It is
Madam, please help me my wash.
5 Healing Streams live healing
I beg.
services with Pastor Chris.
It did onto my
Friday
decks.
the 14th to Sunday the 16th of March 2025.
This
I blame you.
healing
Bring me that
is a
job.
power. I want you to understand. And we're bringing it right into your home, right into your place.
My senior don't come
There'll
now.
be a change in your life. A real transformation.
God's healing power will
That's
sweep across
Zionist.
the globe.
When Pastor
I think that was designed as young man. You know, I don't deal with cheap things.
power in my body from the head to the top.
This healing power of
Malang
God
Paul, you
will
dog.
search through the nations of the world in a moment of time.
Set the time for your miracle now. Register at www.healingstreams.tv/LHS. The services will be transmitted live and in all languages of the world at www.healingstreams.tv.
Constant condemnation on the partial destruction of the grave of former French Cameroon nationalist Enes Wanzi after yet to be identified men storm his gravesite, destroying it partially while promising to come back, raining havoc. This comes on the heels of hate speech and xenophobia targeted towards personalities of nationalism who fought tirelessly for the independence of French Cameroon. Plus, Canada's elect former central bank governor of Great Britain and Canada, Dr. Mark Drake, after serving as special advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and former UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Those were major stories. Details of these and others in this newscast. Hello there, you are welcome to High Prime of Tuesday, the 11th of March 2025. For presentation, I am Etingling Larry Kevin Sabot. We begin this newscast with this story from the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, where church authorities of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, the PCC, today in Buea, on the headquarters of the PCC, held a press conference disclosing on how prepared the church is for the forthcoming institution and induction ceremony of the moderator and the new synod clerk of the PCC. These took place on the holy hills of the PCC in a ceremony that was presided over by 4 clergymen of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, as we find out more in this report. To the build-up of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon on the institution and induction of the moderator and synod clerk, these four servants of God are educating and edifying media men and women in Buea on Sunday's big event on the Holy Hills of the PCC with a great vision.
The physical structures, the biggest vision of the church is to edify the church spiritually. That's the biggest vision. It ties with the mission. The construction of physical structures falls within what is called our social secondary evangelization. Our primary mission of the church is the spiritual edification of the church. So when the moderator comes in and tells you that my vision is to strengthen and edify the church, that is the biggest vision you can ever even think about the church.
The Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, who is noted for consistency, smooth transition in her godly way, once again is showcasing that.
We didn't link the vision of the present leadership to the former. We didn't talk about that. And I think we said for your interest now, we said every leader must dream. And that was the kickoff. Every leader must dream. Everybody must tell the world the direction that he's going.
The spiritual attachment to this PCC on how fortify the body of Christ through retreat was equally highlighted.
And that it's about the retreat, which they are where they are, and it's not like they traveled out of Cameroon to have a retreat. No. Thank you.
With the countdown to the institution and induction of the new moderator and new synod clerk, which will be an entire spiritual fellowship of all.
Like I said, it's a whole spiritual fellowship. The public should be keen to all the spiritual messages. They are meant to edify their soul. It's a public witness of Christ by the church to the world. And we pray that everybody should be getting closer to the D-Day, which is March 16. And during that service, the new moderator will be unveiled. He will preach a very key message that will bring hope, not just to the church, but to all Cameroonians.
As Sunday, 16 March 2025, keeps on getting nearer, all Christians of the PCC and Cameroon at large are looking forward to see this special event of the church come to fulfillment. And beautiful reporting there. We now take you to a series of Women's Day celebration that cuts across all across Cameroon and beyond the world. We kickstart with this first story where women in the town of Buea has been called upon to uphold the values of a virtuous woman. This call were reiterated by the Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia Belai alongside the Southwest Regional Delegate for the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Promotion of the Family, Lucia Idiage Dipita Sona, as they reiterated on the 21st century woman and the Cameroonian women to always uphold the good values. More on that with you, Alice Leke.
Women's Day celebration recorded success in Buea as women from all walks of life and associations gathered in their numbers at Bongo Square to evaluate, recognize, and celebrate the day. The Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia Belai, being the pilot of the event in Buea, appreciated women and encouraged them to continue creating positive impact as they contribute towards nation building.
After 40 years, the women in this country, under the leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic, they have everything to build their life. The head of state has made everything possible for the equality, gender equality, to be a reality in our country.
Women at the forefront of Cameroon's development were called upon to be of good behaviors.
Awareness that we create, the sensitization that we make women to understand the reason why they have to participate in women's activities. Before now, women used to just be in their little corners. In days like this, they'll just be selling their things in the market. You go to OIC market, they are there doing things. But now there's a lot of awareness because the Official Delegation of Women's Empowerment and the Family has been doing a lot. going up and down, sensitizing women about women's issues, about their rights, about equality, about empowerment, which is the theme of this year. We even go to schools and we talk to the students during the youth week about politics, about their rights, about my body, my pride.
Going by the theme of this 2025 edition, for all women and girls, rights, equality and empowerment, young girls were also brought on board. The women in one voice crowned the Man of the Year, who happens to be the Southwest Governor, Bernard Okalia Bilai. With joy, the women marched past the grandstand, carrying placards bearing different messages.
Meanwhile, in the town of Tiko, women were reminded on the good values on them to be equal to men, not in the negative sense, but in all positive sense. As they say, what a man can do, a woman can do it more better. These were the messages re-echoed in the town of Tiko during the 8th of March celebration of the International Women's Day. Article-based reporter Sharon Komo has more.
The 40th International Women's Day celebration in Tiko was booming excitement as the women from all corners gathered to celebrate the day. The day which witnessed the attendance of emancipated women from different walks of life, such as the sub-delegates of Women Empowerment, the deputy mayor, members of parliament, the president of court of first instance, the senior state council, and others. The event witnessed a remarkable speech from the divisional officer.
Money. They will be disciplined in their activities. Mommy, they will play the role to know how to advise the girl child. When we look at our girl of today, the dressing, the attitude, the respect when they give them for other elders in no day like before.
Aside from the divisional officer, the day also witnessed powerful words from the second deputy mayor of Tiko Council.
Hey, woman, hey! Let us remember that our journey is ongoing. We have made progress, yes, but the road ahead is long. And it requires each of us take part in shaping a world where every woman and girl is free to dream, achieve, and live with dignity.
The occasion marked by elaborate speeches like the sub-delegates of Women Empowerment Tiko.
Celebrating today, 8th of March 2025, sounds very much significant in our mothers and girls' child.
With this in mind, other women had this to say.
So I want to encourage women this morning, say, as we celebrate so, while we celebrate responsibly, may we equally be each other's keeper. For Tiko, we get a lot of offenses the way they get for deal with sexual harassment. Recently, we been noticing with small picking there. I beg, if you be neighbor for some person and you realize that they violate it, you can lock your mouth.
While the street of Tiko echoed with the march past of women and political party, the atmosphere that drew in spectators and supporters was charged with various performances, creating a memorable and empowering experience for all those in attendance. The female staff of Tiko issued an award to some female and male staffs and to administration of the council, like the mayor, the 4th deputy mayor, the secretary general, for their collaboration and relentless efforts towards the women of. Over
to Memede in the town of Kumba, where massive massive crowd of women came out to witness this 40th edition of the International Women's Day on the Kumba ceremonial grandstand there downtown in Commercial Avenue of Kumba, as they were reminded to be ambassadors of peace and social cohesion and economic development in the town of Kumba and Meme Division. These were the calls from the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Tuandong Chamberlain, as our Kumba-based reporter Clerantin Ngwari has more.
Women in Meme Division joined their counterparts across the globe to commemorate the 40th edition of the International Day of the Woman. The celebrations in Kumba, chief town of Meme Division, was marked by week-long activities coordinated by the divisional delegate of the Women Empowerment and the Family. At the arrival of the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Division, Ntungdong Chamberlain, and his entourage, women commenced various social activities such as drama, ballet dance, playback, and many more. The second Assistant Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Division, Hemia Njonje, used the occasion to remind the population that the government is committed to empower the women and to ensure their rights by challenging discriminatory laws against the woman.
Healthcare and political representation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will also continue to challenge discriminatory laws and policies that perpetuate gender-based violence and inequality. We will work to create a society where women are valued, respected, and empowered to reach their full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, let us come together today to celebrate the achievement of women and girls and to reaffirm our commitment to promote gender equality and empowering women. Let us work together to create a brighter future for all, where women's rights are respected, protected, and fulfilled. Today, I would like us to take a moment and recognize the outstanding contributions of women in our division. Your dedication, expertise, and leadership are an inspiration to us all.
On her part, the divisional delegate of the Women Empowerment outlined the achievements of women and called for a pledge to support the women. In all, the population turned out in their number since the advent of the Anglophone crisis over 7 years now. The event went on hitch-free under the theme for women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment.
From the town of Kumba, we move on to the town of Wom in Menchum Division of the Northwest region, where women have been called upon to be responsible and mind conscious in the action that they take upon themselves in order to make sure society is being encouraged and in a peaceful way. These were the pronouncements from the Senior Divisional Officer for Menchum Division, Abdullahi Aliu, as he was addressing the women during the 2025 edition of the International Women's Day at the Womb Grandstand. More with you, Alice Lieke.
Women should be responsible in action and words so as to be able to work for peace, love, and meaningful development. This call was made on Saturday, March 8 by the Senior Divisional Officer for Menchum while presiding over the Women's Day celebration in Womb.
We know that the International Women's Day is one of those rare days in our calendar that women across the world in general and our country in particular come together and celebrate in line with the main objectives pursued by the international community, namely peace, equality, and development, with emphasis on the need to eradicate discrimination against women and girls worldwide.
The women came out, majority in their different regalia and styles, entertaining the crowd with different displays. The dignitaries, traditional rulers, and the rest of the population came out at mass to support the women.
Over to Bamuso subdivision in the Bakassi Peninsula of the Southwest region, where it was a resounding Women's Day celebration that took place in that locality of the Bakassi Peninsula, as an impressive turnout of women from the entire Bamuso subdivision in the Bakassi Peninsula all answered present at the ceremonial grandstand as they came from their diverse walk of life to be present for the 2025 edition of the International Women's Day. The diverse activities ranging from singing competition, traditional dances, and other activity were keenly followed by the divisional officer for Bamuso subdivision, Leonard Zoom, and the mayor of Bamuso, Samuel Meme, and a host of other dignitaries who all answered present for cheering the women on their day, the International Day for the Women. Now let's take a listen to some leading women in Bamuso subdivision.
I am very delighted to see the women gathered here today. This time around, we have women that came from the mainland. Majority of them came from the mainland, which was not the same last year. And another good thing is that the women are keeping up with the theme, getting themselves empowered, knowing what empowerment is all about. And I think that this year, celebration is going to push more light for next year to be better than what we are. Wonderful to part of this 40th Women's Day celebration. As the theme says, we should give women the right, we should let them know their we should empower them. So these women, this day, looking at the subdivision, it's really encouraging as the women have really come out. The women are very encouraging. They have participated in most of the activities.
International Women's Day for this year has been a success more than the other years because we started the events as we sit out of the several competitions. 7, we had to walk. This walk, then 8, the education was really nice. The women did all what they could showcase to make the day a success.
If you are just joining us, you are on to High Prime and we are coming to you live from our new studios here in High Television. We now remain with the Women's Day affair. We talk on fashion and style. The Women's Day is now an avenue for women to showcase their different designs and creations during this day make available for them by the United Nations organization. As we'll be finding out detailedly with this report done by you, Alice Lekeliengu, who zooms in on the necessity of the diversity in fashion, making sure women shines brighter.
It is Women's Day celebration 2025. 40 years of this event. In the previous years, nearly all the women would appear in their kaba, as that used to be the main pattern. In recent years, women used the fabric to come out with different designs, making the day more colorful. From trousers to gown, open chests, straight cuts, and more, every woman tried within their reach to get the best styles.
Yeah, it's a good thing because from my look or from what I have seen today, women have come up with different patterns. Some are putting on trousers, some are putting on nice gowns, even their manner in which they used to march, very good. In short, I am really enjoying this Women's Day.
Another aspect that added color to the day were the different footwears. From heels to low sandals and balleri, the women were all very comfortable in their footwear as they marched past the grandstand. Interestingly, like every year, some men marched alongside the women. Just like the saying goes, many we are together. The 2025 Women's Day celebration has come and gone, but women are still called upon to uphold their values while striving to excel in their various fields.
Moving on to one of our top stories, as earlier mentioned, condemnation and outbursts have been emanating from Cameroon and beyond the shores of the nation regarding the desecration of the grave of one of those who fought tirelessly for the freedom and independence of French Cameroon from France during the colonial days. This is Ernest Ouandi, whose grave was being destroyed partially by yet to be identified men. Ernest Ouandi, who died after a firing squad at one of the road junction sites in Bafoussam in the western region of the country, as orchestrated by then President Amadou Ahidjo under the guise of the French colonial influence on him. Let's find out details with you, Rita Mafani Mujoko.
The destruction of the gravesite of one of the most respected nationalists in French Cameroon prior and after independence, Ernest Ouandi, who was killed by the Ahidjo government in compliance with the French government as he was killed in a firing squad at one of the junctions in Bafoussam, has met with massive condemnation. Saw an elderly man on a motorbike who had long boots. Later on, he moved towards the grave and sat on it, telling me that he will be sending a delegation for the complete destruction. This act of Monday morning of 10th March 2025 insults the good memories of a freedom fighter, a fighter like Ernest Ouandi who fought for the liberation of his people.
C'est un climat délétère que nous vivons tous dans ce pays depuis quelque temps.
This act tells us on the situation that we are living in this country for the past years. It's not been long when Ernest Ouandi was described as a thief on a television channel and nothing was done about the fellow, who said it's because he is protected by the regime in place. Ernest Ouandi, who was the Secretary General of UPC, was killed publicly on 15 January 1971. His corpse buried on a cemetery beside l'Église évangélique du Cameroun. A complaint has been addressed on the forces of law and order as UPC is waiting on the outcome. This act has been frowned at by many in this political sector of the opposition, condemning the act of cowardice.
And may his soul rest in peace, and those who perpetrated that act of cowardice be arrested. We now move over to Women's Day situation after the Beijing Conference of 1995 in China. Women across Cameroon and beyond the shores of the nation have been doing an incredible job when it comes to the empowering of women. As such, women in several social organizations and associations have been coming out with schemes to assist one another in the development of themselves and their families. A case in point is women from Manyu Division under the umbrella union of Onjangon Fongori Nerenga Kepe Nevate that has been presided over by Honorable Agbotambe Martina, have now made sure they produce their own bread known as the Manyu bread. This bread was launched during festivities marking the 40th edition of the International Women's Day in the town of Buea as they march past throughout that ceremony with their bread that they do create known as Manyu bread. More on that with our reporter. Since the Beijing's Women's Conference of 4th September 1995 in China, women has been there in several disciplines, thus contributing immensely to their various economies
of life, in the home, on the job, in the community, as mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, learners, workers, citizens, and leaders. It is also a coming together, much the way women come together every day in every country. We come together in fields and factories, in village markets and supermarkets, in living rooms and board rooms. Whether it is while playing with our children in the park or washing clothes in a river, or taking a break at the office water cooler, we come together and talk about our aspirations and concerns. And time and again, our talk turns to our children and our families.
After 1995, women across the spectrum are into income-generating activities as they are no longer dependent on their husbands and the male folk. On this premise, women from Manyu under the union of Nechokonobate Nerengekepu are into income-generating activities, helping one another in the struggles of life.
We don't exist for 62 years, and a lot of people don't know our strength. This group, my group, we don't empower so many women, so many children, and we don't go as far as for this. May we change with strategy, or may we add with activity. And for add this activity, we say we will make Manyu bread. The women of Nechokonobate Nerengekepu in Buea kept the rendezvous for the 40th edition of the International Women's Day celebration in the town as they launched their latest innovative product, the Manyu bread. We come up with this initiative produce Manyu bread for add to the number of the different kinds of bread where they be for Cameroon. You hear boulangerie bread, you hear Banso bread, you hear Kumba bread. So this time we bring Manyu bread. And so now for make sure say we train begin them, we employ some, and then we make them they understand say life na vision. And so they pick up with their own different visions and come up with their own projects. As laudable initiative like this keeps on intensifying in the southwest region, Cameroon and the globe at large, women are now reminded to be there for one another, strengthening the women folk and the sisterhood.
And over to Canada, where the Canadian ruling party, the Liberal Party, has elected Dr. Mark Carney as her new Prime Minister. This was on Sunday as they elected the former governor to the Central Bank of Great Britain and Canada respectively, who till the time of his election was serving as one of the advisors to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and he equally served under British Prime Minister Boris Johnson as special advisor. The young and dynamic leader stood up to US President Donald Trump on his bullying on tariff, as he says Canada will never be a subject to ridicule from anyone, talk less of the United States of America. More on that with our foreign news roundup. Canada's new leadership for the next years was secured last Sunday, 9th March 2025, as the former Central Bank Governor of Canada and the former Central Bank Governor of the United Kingdom was.
And like the Prime Minister, without your examples, I wouldn't have a purpose. And without your love, I wouldn't have the strength that I need for what lies ahead. Thank you.
Across the land.
And may I say that you inspired my family to become Liberals, including my father to run as a Liberal candidate in Alberta in the 1980s. Some elections are tougher than others. And you inspired me. You inspired me over the years. And now to have an opportunity to continue your tradition of fiscal responsibility, social justice, and international leadership.
With the United Liberal Party of Canada having control, the incoming Prime Minister is a pragmatic financial and economic expert who promised radical change that will make his country stronger among the G7 member countries while standing up to US President Donald Trump on his unjust outing on tariff, as he has been attacking his predecessor Justin Trudeau.
Prime Minister Trudeau, my time doesn't permit me to recognize all your accomplishments. so I'll speak at a higher level. You have combined strength and compassion every day as a fighter for Canada. You have led us through some of the hardest challenges that this nation has ever faced. Et en même temps,
at the same time,
vous avez transformé le Canada. My government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. And until they can join us in making credible and reliable commitments to free and fair trade. As Christian did. Yeah. And in the meantime, we will ensure that all the proceeds from our tariffs will be used to protect our workers. Les Américains veulent nos ressources, notre eau, notre territoire, notre pays. Pensez-y. Pensez-y.
With the coming into place of Mark Carney, who has been advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada and former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he is definitely a new leader in global geopolitics to watch out for. And with our foreign news item on the election of Mark Carney as the new Prime Minister of Canada from the Liberal Party, this is what concludes tonight's news package, High Prime for Tuesday, 11th March 2025. Thanks so much for being with us. At exactly 9 p.m., you'll be joined by Uncle Diman with the news in the Pidgin language. For me and the entire newscast crew, it's good night.